Its waters have nourished the cradle of civilizations and fed the world's greatest religion for millennia. It has been called the father of rivers. Witness the most fascinating and untold story of Sindhu, the river Indus. Come join us on an epic journey through 11,000 years of history, geography, and culture. Travel with us, 2,000 miles with mighty Indus.
Hi everyone, welcome to The Drop. This is Hatim.
This is Safia
and Maha.
And we're going to be talking about Season 8, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones, which was released this week, and it was met with a mixed reaction from the audience as it landed with less of a bang and more of a thud. Because, to be very honest, I think the episode was teasing the Night King and how it took 7 seasons to build a very vicious antagonist, and unfortunately, the end of the episode left the viewers wanting a lot more. So guys, your opinions, what do you think?
I was so disappointed. This was something that I had been waiting for, and we were anticipating for there to be, so much more going on than just within, 5 minutes the Night King was killed. What was that? I mean, that was like, I was really gutted. I was really upset. What about you?
I completely agree. We've been waiting for this for 7 seasons, and
exactly.
we expected there to be as ruthless as it sounds. We expected some main characters to die.
Yeah.
I thought Jaime's a dead man.
He has one hand.
I agree.
How can he survive,
Jaime, Brienne, they were all pinned to the wall at the end of the episode. I don't know how Samuel is alive. That is a miracle in its own right.
I swear that guy does not know how to lift a knife.
No,
as it has been shown in the previous seasons, right?
Yeah.
But he has a survival rate better than most warriors,
definitely.
all of the Dothraki, most of the Unsullied. So I don't get why he's still sticking around. But I think the problem is that Game of Thrones is always sort of victim to its own over-marketing, because this whole season they've pitched it as, winter is here.
Exactly.
And with sort of like a finality that, this is the key enemy. And I understand that, because when you're wrapping up a season, you are going to end up generalizing on a lot of stuff and, leaving a lot of stuff out. But at the end, when you're going to, kill off your main antagonist very quickly with no explanation, that too in a very...
But can I ask, do you feel that the duration was longer in these episodes?
It was a lot.
Now, do you feel that the war, the battle scene that was shown, don't you feel that was dragged?
It was. It definitely was. In my opinion, Battle of the Bastards, even the Red Wedding in itself, climax.
Yeah.
Every second was climactic. Every second had us on the
what's
edge
going
of
to
our
happen.
chairs. Like, oh my God, what is happening? Dark. Could
dark.
not see anything.
Okay, I do not agree with the dark part, because I was reading that they shot the episode for 55 straight nights. They wanted it to be very sort of tough to because the director said me honestly the director of the episode, like I was watching his interview, Miguel Sapochnik, and he was answering some fan questions. They're like, why are the episodes so dark? And he's like, it's because the Night King,
But
wherever
why was
he
it
comes,
still dark even with the
it was
flames?
a little unintelligible because once the sort of Dothraki died down, there was actually nothing I could see at that stage. Everything was pixelating. It was
What a
little
waste.
Okay. I understand the sentiment of whoever shot this, but it's not fair to us.
No.
When you have been telling us for 7 seasons that there's winter is coming, and then Daenerys goes like, winter's here. Show us violence, show us bloodshed. Where is it? You have accustomed us to that ruthless killing of all the characters. I still have not gotten over Ned Stark's death because that was first season. I've still suffered because of that. I have no trauma from this. What's going on?
There hasn't been any character development this season. I mean, they've been teasing this episode for 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes are practically just like a filler for this.
Last time me and Maha were having this conversation, the last episode on Game of Thrones, and we thought, okay, the first 2 episodes were deliberately so bland.
Exactly.
Because the 3rd episode's gonna be everything that we want.
Exactly,
And what was that?
It was so. I just don't
It's a waste
understand.
of an episode,
Yeah,
honestly.
it really was.
I think one of the good scenes was when the Red Witch she comes on and she says to the Dothraki, lift up your weapons, and she holds it in the incantation that she says, and then suddenly it's flames everywhere, and they cheer and they chant, and I loved that scene. I think that was
again,
a highlight.
there were many cool scenes in this episode, but I think they were mostly doing a lot of fan servicing, so over CGI'd scenes, a lot of extra dragon chases.
Another issue I had with it was that I think I said this before and I'll say it again. This is not Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is known for its unpredictability and its violence and everything like that.
This was predictable.
Everything was predictable.
Yes,
we all of us knew that he's gonna die, but we expected him to kill Jamie.
Many people,
and
There
a
was
lot of other
no
characters.
story to him.
And
It
there
was so
were
convenient.
11 White Walkers standing right behind that guy, and Arya managed to sneak past all of them.
Yeah, but
There's a theory to
there's
this.
a theory to
There's a
this.
theory.
One of them is that because she has had that training in changing her guise and whatnot, right? She probably must have disguised herself as a White Walker, and then perhaps she
Managed to jump.
Again, that's like a big
I don't know how
stretch
she-
because
I wish that
that's
they
a
gave
very
us some
small
clarity.
White Walker. Arya isn't
Exactly.
exactly like 6'4" or something. But I think the issue with this episode mainly is that they wanted the visuals and the sort of battle experience to take everything forward, but they ignored a lot
But it
of
was
plot
too dark.
It was too dark.
It was too dark, and they ignored a lot of loopholes in the plot as well, because a lot of the times it was very confusing why, for example, if there were 2 dragons at their disposal, once that fog thing didn't come into play and once they were near Winterfell, why weren't they just, burning the entire army as is?
Exactly.
Why did Daenerys land in the middle of a horde of undead and just left her dragon vulnerable to that sort of attack?
These are very important questions because, in my opinion, when we found out throughout the episodes, throughout the seasons rather, that dragons exist, that was the moment we found out that if winter will come, this is what will save us, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They were not used. Where the hell were the
and
dragons?
practically useless against White Walkers as well. I mean, they tried to toast that guy and nothing happened.
Why
And
didn't it happen? I'm
Another thing,
curious.
the Night King was known for his shots, his
I
precise
agree.
shots.
He didn't
Yeah,
shoot
he
a sing-
shot
I think
Daenerys
once missed.
Again, like they were sort of making it very inevitable that they're just luring the Night King, and it made a very sort of dangerous character seem very innocuous because I wasn't feeling the same. For example, when you remember Hard Home, like your first interaction with these the White Walkers and the Whites. Now that was an intense episode from the same director, but it was intense because we never actually saw what winter would entail before that episode,
Exactly.
and once it came on, you understood the magnitude of it. Right now in this episode, it felt like a crowd pleaser, but again, I think they missed out on so much and so many
Like the
opportunities.
Night King
to make
could
it
bring down a wall. He
Yes.
could bring down a dragon.
But he got stabbed.
He got stabbed
Arya.
by a little girl.
Yeah.
We know Arya's good. We know she's good,
I have to
but-
give it to
better.
her.
Is she that good?
Is she that
Okay, but you have to give it to her. The scene where she's fighting with her weapon.
You realize
For
she's
20
about
seconds,
to
like,
lose when she's
But
out the
that
door, when
was
she falls
something.
back.
That was something, you
It's
know.
the hound. Another thing I
I
found
agree.
very
Yeah.
interesting. I think that was my favorite moment. I don't know about you guys. You know, he gives up, and then the other guy goes like, "Why aren't you fighting?" He's like, "I don't know about you guys. I cannot fight death." And then he points Arya out. He says, "Look at her. Fight for her." And that's who's Hound basically saves Arya, who basically kills the Night King.
Yeah.
So that was a very interesting stretch in that.
But again, like it's these small portions in this episode that sort of redeem the other. For example, when Lyanna Mormont died, that was a good death. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
was a
was
good
that was
that was
satisfying
beautiful.
because she was practically dead at
So
that point,
brave.
and the stab in the eye that was good. But otherwise, I practically felt nothing for
Can I
Jorah
ask,
Mormont.
what do you guys feel about Theon Greyjoy's redemption?
It was a good
and
character
That was a
arc.
very good.
I think one of the few good character arcs left, because I understood they stretched it out quite a lot, because he went from good to bad to really bad to Ramsay Bolton level bad, and then, you know, it was very long drawn out. He's been sticking around since season 1.
Yeah.
But I think I was reading I think it was in some article that Bran's forgiveness sort of completed the whole cycle for him, because he was asking for forgiveness from every Stark, and every Stark besides Bran sort of forgave
And
him
he
for
said
what
thank
he did.
you at the end.
Exactly,
That was
and that
beautiful.
sort of he got the, because Theon as a character has always been sort of confused. Where is my home? Which family
Where do I belong?
Exactly, which family does
I
he
do
give his
agree, but
allegiance
like
to?
if you're talking about in the grand scheme of things, useless.
Why?
He could have waited 5 more minutes for Arya to show up, and perhaps he would have
He
lived.
had no idea he was on
Exactly.
her way.
In my opinion,
And
he
also-
was running towards death. What did he expect? He's going to run to the White Walkers and what? Like,
Say,
he's
"Let
going to
me
save?
live."
He's going to save everyone.
Again,
I
I
know, if
think
you're
it's
talking about
a-
redemption, I agree. He's a character we've initially loved, then hated, and now we've come to like forgive him.
Liking it, yeah.
But we're talking about, for me, this episode was not about the minute details. I'm sorry. It was about the bigger things. It was about the major characters dying. It was about winter ending. It was about the Night King killing and then being killed in an impossible manner. For example, Thanos, Avengers. I'm sorry to bring it up again, but
I haven't seen it yet, so
okay, but
Right. So now we cannot say.
we cannot say anything. But that is how you kill a villain.
okay.
I'll
I'll
learn the art from
reference that
Marvel.
eventually. Actually, just to follow up on that question, you mentioned that your character deaths were not sufficient. Which character would you have seen to be dead after this episode?
Jamie.
Jamie, he has one hand. I'm going to emphasize on that.
No,
How does someone
but
survive?
what about Jamie's prophecy of killing Cersei?
Okay.
That, I mean, you can't ignore that.
Brienne.
But again, like, they sort of lifted her up in the last episode and barely gave her screen time in this one. She wasn't.
She was made a commander. She was given
leading the
knighthood
left
the
flank.
night before.
Yeah, but like again, like they should have used her, honestly, a little bit.
Perhaps, yeah.
But anyways, just to sort of wrap up our discussion here, what do you expect for the next episode? Where is the season going? I understand that winter is here
we
and it
always
is
say this.
disappointing, but
What we want in the next episode is action.
We want
Please.
action. Give us some action.
Gore,
you
blood.
can expect action in episode 5
Yeah,
because it's
everyone
the
said
same
that
director.
about-
It's the
Yeah.
same director.
Well, let's hope for it because
The
it's been dull.
disappointing thing is that winter was supposed to unite all of mankind.
Yes.
Cersei remained out of it for a reason. So that's some
Yes,
action.
exactly. Yeah.
That's some
Yeah.
action we have to look forward to
Yes.
because it is the Game of Thrones.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
And we have to see who now is going to be the rightful heir to the throne.
Agreed. Yeah.
So let's see, perhaps. However, if the action with Cersei is more intense than this, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. But yet, if I
Yeah.
don't see any
Then
action,
you'll be even more
so
disappointed.
It's a band-aid. I mean, you
yeah.
have to rip it off eventually. But I feel that with the future of Westeros at stake, I would love to see another episode like, you know, The Light of the Seven, in which everything sort of
Absolutely.
shifts for us in such a drastic way. Who do you see sitting on the Iron Throne?
I really don't.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Yeah.
No, John. is too honorable for that place. So guys, the episode was a bit of a disappointment. Unfortunately, our expectations were very high and the episode was not able to meet those expectations. But we're hoping that the season ahead is much more engaging, much more interesting, and it meets the expectations of the fans. But we're happy to hear from you. We want to know what you think. Please comment and let us know what you think. And thank you for watching. This is The Drop.